everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a quote from Winston Churchill. And I'm a big fan of several Churchill quotes, but this one is that perfection is the enemy of progress. And this holds a lot of importance to me because it's how I operate. And a lot of times when I'm working on projects in-house for a new product, for a marketing idea, sales, promotions, whatever the case may be, an in-house, assignment that we need to get taken care of, or I'm working with some of my other investments or providing guidance for others, a lot of times people get very caught up in the early stages to try and make everything perfect. And it's not to say that you shouldn't have some preparation, that you shouldn't have thought through your idea to a certain extent before moving forward, but it's really, really important that you don't get caught up on this idea of having a perfect situation before you start stepping towards your goals. It's really easy to get bogged down in those details, to get overwhelmed and then never actually take that first step. It's a huge issue and wall and barrier, so to speak, that a lot of people face these days. Is they want that ideal situation. So make sure that doesn't stop you from moving forward. Along those lines, you also have to think about that once you're actually in the process. While you're developing that brochure, that website, or that product, you need to make sure that you don't get caught up in the process and, okay, you've got this great idea and you start moving it forward, and then you have to get it to perfection before you're ever showing it to the public, before you're ever getting it out there. Unfortunately, the problem with that is you're going to make it perfect in your own head, right? In your own mind's eye, so to speak. And without getting some feedback from others, without getting some testing in the marketplace, what you might find is that you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort perfecting something that's wrong. If you can get it to 80%, that is really your ideal goal. The last 20% makes a huge difference, and it will be what can help separate your product or your idea from others in the market. But that first 80% is really where most of the meat and potatoes are, so to speak. So make sure that you don't get in your own way with the idea that your website, your product, your brochure, whatever the case may be that you're working on, has to be exactly perfect. If you're not sure, do a smaller run, do a smaller batch, get it up, get some tests, get some feedback. Because one of the other things that can happen oftentimes is you have this idea in your mind of what perfect is, and you haven't shown it to your customers yet. You haven't shown it to your demographic yet. You haven't gotten any practical world testing yet. And then all of a sudden you get that practical world testing, you get that feedback, and you realize that you were off the mark. And so if you work to try and perfect it before you ever got it out there, you might find that you were working to perfect something that's wrong. And that is a lot of wasted time versus working through that occasional struggle, that occasional hiccup that you're going to have because it wasn't right out of the gate. Much better to get it out, get some feedback, make those adjustments on the fly, and not wait for perfection. So that's my thoughts for the day. We'll talk to you soon.